What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hardworking Happy Hour. I'm Sean.
And I'm Catherine, and as always, we'll be breaking down all things trades, entrepreneurship, and turning your creativity into a passion career. Hello, Seanski. What's going on?
What's happening, Catherine? I was trying to come up with a nickname for you, but I could not think of one. So, just how you doing? Just a regular how you doing?
Just a regular hello. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing excellent. I'm doing so good. So much stuff's going on. So busy. So much excitement right now in my life. It's crazy.
Like what? What do you got?
Well, it was just very eventful getting ready for this.
Yeah.
Well, for
you were
everybody,
late. We should let everyone know you were late.
as I typically am, by at least a couple minutes. Yes, I was late again, by just a few minutes. So much exciting stuff going on. So a few minutes. Okay. A few minutes is anywhere from 3 to 20 is a few minutes. So the shop build is coming together. Last week had the HVAC go in. So couple mini splits went in, and today insulation getting installed. So it's going to be insulated. It's all that good stuff. And I got Josh. What? Oh, go ahead.
Well, I don't know if this is going to distract you too much, but I just have a question about. I wasn't really thinking about those huge garage doors. When like, how good is it going to be at holding in the HVAC when there's just giant garage doors? Isn't that like letting a bunch of air in and out?
No clue. They're insulated garage doors.
Okay.
But I'm not sure how well insulated, but they are insulated doors.
Interesting. All right, keep going.
So I think pretty good. I mean, I don't think we're working with something, some super energy efficiency here. It's just going to really be to take the edge off, and then the upstairs, want to be a functioning office. So, it's got to be climate controlled. So we got that going on, exciting stuff. And then for anybody that's followed Premiere for a long time, you'll remember Josh, aka Scooter. He's out doing his own thing now. Big man about town, got his own biz.
Man about his business.
And right now, part of that business is building my fence. So he's also here today, putting in fence posts, and there's a lot of them. Putting in a lot. It's going to be like, I don't know, well over 100 posts. A lot of holes to dig.
That's so many holes. And you said he's hand digging those?
He is, yeah. He started along the back Monday, and that was all really soft soil. But yesterday and today, he's like, for whatever reason, this part of your yard, it's all really hard. So it's doesn't seem like a lot of fun.
And also, the ones that he previously dug were in the wrong spot, so he has to redig? Correct
no,
or false?
There was too many. I misjudged the property line quite a bit, probably by about 40 feet. And so there was about like 6 or 7 posts that had to come out along the back. Good thing I caught that when I did. And so no, he didn't have to redig any. I just took a bunch out. And
gotcha.
So yeah,
he
that's
went
where
too far. I got it.
He went too far. He went to exactly where I made the mark. I made the mark way too far.
I thought you meant they were like in a line parallel to your property line, and he had to then redig them and move them closer. But that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
And thank God for poor little Josh's sake, because that would be awful.
Yeah, it would. It would. So thank God we did. Yesterday, I was trying to figure out like the front corner because he was going to start on that. So I'm like, I got the survey and I'm measuring stuff, and I'm like, hold on a second. Something doesn't seem right. And I'm like, uh-oh. A lot of this fence is protruding way past the property line. So got that fixed. Got that going on. And other exciting stuff. I'm going to Cleveland tomorrow.
Wow, that really is exciting.
Cleveland, I hear, is just an amazing...
this time of year.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Right on the lake. Is that on one of the lakes, the Great Lakes? Maybe.
Let me know. You'll find out tomorrow, I guess.
I doubt I will. I probably won't. But that's going to be pretty cool. We're doing something with Fine Home Building and Habitat for Humanity. So just a very quick little trip out to Cleveland. Flying out tomorrow night, coming back Friday night. So like 24-hour tripperooski. And
Nice.
then I'll be back. So plus we're at the final stages of a job, starting another one. It's really hectic right now. I got a lot going
Life
on.
is hectic.
God, so hectic. But hey, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Power through it, I guess.
When the tough gets going, the going gets when the going gets tough, the tough get going, and I'm getting going.
There you go.
I'm just warming
There you
up.
go.
So watch out. All right. Well, what do you got going on?
Not much. I was waiting for you for a little bit to record this. I had time to make a snack, which was lovely. There was a door-to-door salesman that came, which I never get the pleasure of having them really, usually I'm at work during the day when all the door-to-door salesmen come. So
Yeah.
that was exciting. That's
Tell me about this. You briefly told me about that, and we don't get that many out here.
Out in the sticks.
Out in the sticks. It's a little further house to house. We have had a couple, which I was really surprised by. But you said that your move is to just kind of walk around inside the house.
Yeah. So I never answer. Well, this has started from this is a lifelong thing, a lifelong battle with door-to-door salesmen or anyone who comes to my door unannounced. I'm not answering the door for anybody, especially. I feel like as a woman, I don't want anyone to think that I'm home alone. And like currently in this moment, when I was here, I am home alone. And usually it's like PSE&G people wanting to come read my meter. I also never let them in, even though they do have badges. But I'm still like, nah, not gonna happen.
No, find another time, pal.
Yeah, look through the window or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's not my problem that you put something in my basement that you have.
Hey, strange man. No, I'm not gonna let you in. Just look through my window. That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. But anyway, so I have I have 3 front doors. The first of which is on a porch that has been enclosed, that is fully glass. It's a sun porch. It is a big wide room that I have many things. I have decorated it as if it's an interior room.
Right.
And usually when there's a door-to-door salesman or whomever, PSC&G person, my dog's barking.
Right.
It's very apparent that I'm home. I just like to walk around out there. They can see me, and then I'm not answering the door. But I don't like it, and I want to make it known.
You're right in the sun porch.
Yeah. And I want. Yes. This time I was inside of my house, and he knocked or whatever, and then they do this weird thing where they go stand really far away from your door.
Oh, to not be threatening.
I don't know why, but it's like far away. I don't know if he's trying to hide. Like if I looked through my front door, I wouldn't be able to see. I don't know what it is, but anyway, he walked kind of away. So then I had an Amazon package on my porch, so I just went out there and I got my Amazon package. I walked over to the other side of the porch, grabbed something else, and then I came and I went inside. He saw me, but I'm not answering my door, so.
Did you wave or anything?
No.
Or give him the finger?
Mm-mm.
Nothing?
No. Just pretend he doesn't exist.
Oh, great.
And you can also, through the sun porch, if you look, I do have 2 front windows.
Yeah.
You can also just see into my house, kind of. Like, I mean, I have curtains and stuff, but like, if you're looking for somebody to be home, you could see me.
Yeah.
I also just kind of wander around in there just so they know that I'm ignoring them. Because, like, buzz off.
Yeah.
What? Get a better job. Come on. I understand everyone's got to work, but, like, what are you trying to sell me? Solar? Send me an email or something. I'm still not going to buy it, but
yeah.
Don't come to my house. It's
I don't even believe in the sun, so hit them with that. See what they say. That would be fun. All right. Well, that's great. That's got to be such a hard job. It's a terrible job.
Why would anybody want to do that?
I don't know. And
I assume it's solar. Usually it's some sort of solar thing.
Yeah, or they're trying to get you to switch to like a third-party energy provider. It's like all very confusing.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. And
it used to be like knives. Remember when people used to do knives?
That was more of like a party kind of thing. Like, hey, like my friend's niece is selling Cutco knives because she did a little demonstration. I remember we had that at my house. Somebody came over, and I remember they cut a penny in half with a pair of scissors. And it was like, wow.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That is amazing. And I feel like at some point there was a shoe that was cut in half.
Wow, that's cool.
That was a big moment for like an 8-year-old or something.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is so cool. My parents bought some, so it worked. All right. Well, what do we got going on this week on this episode? We got a couple good topics. We're going to talk about some being in other people's shoes. not literally, but metaphorically. We're going to talk about mistakes and how you roll with them. And then I got a little something I just want to chat about
Oh,
later here.
a little side
So
topic. Okay.
let's get into it. Why don't we just get into it? Let's get into the main topic here. Hit us with it. Oh, we're going right into the construction news segment. All right.
Is that not what you meant?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
It is. Yeah.
Construction news. Okay. Home Depot. They have announced that even their top executives are now going to have to work a full 8-hour shift in their stores, including Ted Decker, the CEO.
Every day?
I think it's just maybe one full 8-hour shift.
Like that's it? Just
Every quarter, it says.
every quarter.
Once
Oh,
every
okay.
quarter, they have to work a full 8-hour shift, which I thought it was just one. But every quarter, that seems kind of a lot. But I love the idea of this because so often companies, you get to the top, you're in your office, you are not in touch with the people and the daily struggles that they have to deal with. And especially working in a store like Home Depot or like any big box stores where like theft is rampant. You're dealing with all of these people. Everything's like heavy and cumbersome and you're trying to move stuff around. Like that doesn't seem like everyone's like, oh, it's just a retail job. But it seems like I don't want to do it. So like,
yeah, you're just out there on the front lines, basically.
but though that's where these people are making you all of your money. So you have to be in touch with them. But big discrepancy. So I think this is a really cool idea. And I'd love to see one of their little trustees or whatever working an 8-hour shift, like a full 8-hour shift, full day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're just going to kind of, not really do much. But anyway, I do think that's.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. They'll probably just, kind of kibitzing around and check in on what Harry over in Paint's doing. See how he's making out. Everyone knows that he's CEO. Everyone's just going to be like on their best behavior. Like you're not going to, it's going to be hard to get a real experience of what it's like. The only true way to do that is wear a fake mustache and a bad wig, undercover boss style.
Maybe they will. Who knows?
Yeah. No, I think that's really cool because you can get so out of touch, just with what other people are doing and like just with your customers. Like that is the front line of your customers' experience. It's being in touch with what's happening in the store, what it's like to walk in, like how does everything look, how does everything run. It just gives you that like ground floor perspective to like see things in a different perspective. And I think it's really cool. And I would not be surprised if this small change feels like one of those things that you'll read about in a book like 10 years from now on like leadership. Like,
Yeah.
This seems like it could potentially be a really big turning point in the company. Like this small thing really, it's a culture thing and it's a way of getting everybody aligned and just understanding the business from the ground up, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
I think you agree.
I do agree. And it felt very topical for our company because I went on vacation, you had to do some of the things that I do, and then Steve went on vacation and you had to like edit the vlog. So you got a touch of this back to the people, You sit so high in your tower of company ownership, and then you had to mingle down here with our little peons. And how was it? How was it for you to do what we did?
to just come down off my throne and which is just I guess one seat over in the van. For one, it's really nice because 3 people in the van is a lot. It works. It works.
We do make it work, but it's more comfortable too. It was definitely designed with 2 in mind.
It was, and the third was just kind of like thrown back there. And that's my desk. Is the third desk that's kind of like half a desk in the back. So number one, it's so much easier to get distracted because like we're in such close proximity. Yeah. The other thing is like it just brought me back. So I'll go over a couple of things that I feel like I took from the experience.
Mhm.
Obviously, this is much different than the CEO of Home Depot going and doing a retail shift, but I think it goes to prove the point that you can be sitting right next to somebody that does a different part of the business that you can still so easily lose touch with what they do on a daily basis, and like, not only have like a newfound appreciation for what they do on a daily basis, but also just see how you make decisions, like how I make decisions from a different perspective almost. Like, you know,
Mhm.
so for example, I'll just go through some kind of high level things that I kind of picked up from this experience that I thought was really eye opening for me. And I'll start with when Steve was on vacation, because um that was really like getting back to doing everything that I was doing before. Like, it felt like how I started everything, with filming everything myself, editing everything myself, doing it at night after, well, now after Max goes to sleep. I didn't have a child back then, so it was easier. But like just taking all of that on, um, it really put me in a different perspective, and it like I talked about it, I think last week or the week before, how it was like kind of invigorating to do that, and like exciting and all that. But it really it made me realize that when I'm there doing stuff, working, and Steve is supposed to be producing the weekly video or making clips, like sometimes I don't give him a lot to work with almost. Like it's just kind of, I'm so used to doing it myself, and like working from that mindset where I'm like thinking about how the edit's going to go in my head. What's this part going to be next? I know what we shot, what was the important stuff, what's going to be happening next on the job. Like all this stuff's going on in my head. So I can plan it out. I can know what shots we need to get. But for him, it's like he's kind of working in the dark a little bit, even though he's right there, because there's so much that's like just stored within my own head. And it made me realize that some of this, like, it must be really hard for him sometimes to like just know how much more are we going to get done this week? Like, what's going to be the finish of this week's video? How, hey, there's, you know, 30 minutes of footage on this one tiny little part that's going to probably get edited down to like 30 or 45 seconds. When I film it and I'm doing it, I know exactly where those parts are. So I can just like import it, cut it up real quick, and like boom, I have like the meat and potatoes of that situation right there. When I'm filming it and then giving it to him, it's like he's got to watch the whole thing and like really understand what's happening. Or if he's out there filming it, sometimes he might not know exactly as intuitively like I do what is like the very important crucial thing here that makes sense to show, and what part is just like, just fluff that isn't really impactful or informative or anything like that. So it put that in perspective to me, to be like, I need to be more vocal about what's happening, make sure that we're all on the same page. It's really easy for me to be on the same page with myself. Like that's easy. So it would be very efficient if I could just do everything. If I had 100 hours in a day and I could continue to edit and do everything, that would be great, but that's not possible. So like it made me realize editing one full vlog put me in his shoes for a week, and I thought it just opened my eyes to how I can structure things better to communicate to him and make sure that we're all on the same page, so he has the tools that he needs to edit seamlessly and make sure that the final product is has all those important parts, and it's funny and it's informative and all that stuff. Um, I just rambled on for so long. Did that
Yeah.
did that make sense?
Yeah.
It did.
And it made sense in a long-winded way. Um,
Thanks.
but I'm so glad for that. Well, we probably would have recorded stuff anyway while he was gone. But at first, you guys were like, "We're not going to release a vlog while he's out because I'm not going to be able to edit it." And I was like, "Nope, we're doing it." And I'm glad, because I feel like you did come to this realization of like the kind of content we need to make and the kind of um, things we need to say or get across, or how we need to do things. And I feel like that was a really good, a good little exercise for us.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because it, like, obviously we watch the videos every week. Like, he edits them, we do some viewings, we watch, like, all of that. But it's like you're so much more immersed in it when you're the one editing it that you can really, like, it just felt like we needed a little bit to get back to the roots of like what the whole concept of these videos is for. It's to be funny and entertaining and
Hmm.
informative and like to show cool stuff. Like that is the core of it. And I think it's easy to get out of touch with that when you're really busy that week and like I have a lot of stuff going on. You have a lot of stuff going on. Steve's kind of like editing by himself in the van a lot. So like we're kind of rushing on a Friday to like do that final viewing and say, okay, let's make these changes. But like me being immersed in it so much for that week, like it just made me come up with some new ideas, some fresh perspective on how we can kind of get back to that voice that kind of started it. That I think was like the unique thing, like when I was doing all the filming and all the editing, it was like that 100% was just like my authentic voice. And I think that's like an important thing to stick with and not get too far away from. Like
Hmm.
Steve brings to the table like his amazing editing and getting awesome shots and everything like that. But I think like we were starting like with some of our stuff, we were starting to like kind of get a little bit away from like the core of what makes us us.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I just thought that was like really eye opening for me to be in his shoes for a week, come up with a fresh perspective, and the main thing that I got out of it was like communication. And that's what it kind of always comes back to with me. Like the lesson that I usually end up learning with things like this is just communication because in my head it's just like everyone should just know what to do at all times
Hmm.
because it's just kind of floating around in my head and you guys didn't just like it didn't float around and you didn't grab onto that thing that was just floating around like come on. But that's probably one of my biggest weaknesses and um it was brought to light again, and I always need that reminder to be a better communicator and, um, not push my chaotic mindset onto others.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Are you sick?
me,
You got a thing happening. You all right?
I'm not. First of all, I don't get sick,
Okay.
and second of all, yes, I'm very sick. Yeah, I've been sick for a while. Do I sound
You
nasally?
sound ill, yeah.
Yeah, I sound very nasally. Uh, yeah, I haven't not been feeling well since maybe like Friday,
Oh,
but that's okay.
powering through it.
Yeah,
Sorry to
yeah.
point it out.
It's all right. It's all right. Hey,
I thought the listeners might have noticed the uh
the
the
nasally.
vocal, yeah, the vocal whatever's
Yeah.
happening.
Well, for that I do apologize, but as a man in this society, I have to ignore it.
Yeah, I think that's
It's
best. Yeah,
until it's and I already had like my
you either ignore it or you just complain incessantly about it.
yeah,
There's
the
no in
man flu
between.
kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I did there was like 2 days ago I really wasn't feeling good. Um And Sarah was like, "Oh, you got the man flu." I'm like, "Come on, I'm sick for like 12 hours a year. Like, just let me have this 12 hours, please." And she was great about it. So,
Aw.
just a little bit of razzing, which is the core of it's the foundation of a great relationship. Is a little
Definitely.
razzing. So, all right, now on to you. What did I learn when you were gone?
Oh yeah. What'd you
All right,
learn?
so so, and I think we might have touched on this a little bit, and it was kind of the same kind of essence what I got from when Steve was gone and I was doing a lot of his stuff. So for one, there was just a lot of stuff that we kind of prepped ahead of time or pushed off until after you came back. So there was like some contract stuff, some like just some of that kind of stuff that we either made sure we had taken care of before you left or we just pushed till after you came back. So I
Mhm.
didn't do like everything that you do, but the one thing that I did was handled all of like the posting. You usually post all the clips that we make, do all that kind of stuff. And that was something that I had to take over while you were gone. So not only creating the clips, like me and Steve were really collaborative on that while you were gone, and then deciding what was going to get posted, and also like what was the caption and all of that kind of stuff. And I'd say the biggest thing that that I guess I pulled from that was, you can kind of get into this kind of like rhythm of just like coming up with kind of quippy captions and this and that. And most of the stuff, obviously is derived from some sort of design element that I designed at some point. So like there's like a reason why this kind of thing is like this. And a lot of that stuff again is just like kind of rolling around inside my own head. And some of it's obvious, and then like you'll post, hey, we did this. What do you think? Like, is this the way to do it, or do you do it some other way? Like, so you do a lot of that. But it just made me realize like there's always like some sort of explanation or reason behind why we do certain things. And it was a lot easier for me to just like, when I'm sitting there like, okay, I got to come up with a caption, to just like explain that, like what's going on from my perspective. And I thought that was, again, like kind of getting back to, maybe not getting back to like the roots of like what started like the brand voice or whatever, but it was just authentically my voice, which I think is like that's where it all started. So like that's kind of what we're trying to, curate everything around. Like it's an extension of the voice that I started all the social media stuff with, and we're trying to like, just expand on that. So getting back a little bit to just explaining what's going on in my head when I see this clip or when we do this certain thing, explaining it from my own perspective. A lot of times I'll just be like, you'll either have a really good caption to post, or you'll be like, hey, what should I post here? And like when I'm not doing it, it's just like I can't get in that. I'm just like, I don't know, just whatever, you got it. Or I'll come up with like a dumb idea. But when I'm sitting there like I have to do it, it's like puts me in that mindset of, let me think of something that was interesting about this from my own perspective. And again, I don't communicate that a lot of times. And I think I could be a lot better at that, of like, there might be something about a clip that was a crucial part of the design process that might be interesting to people. So like, let me make sure I communicate that to you. Like, hey, this one clip, I feel like I'm not doing a great job of explaining this, but just having that perspective of what I was thinking, what was going through my own head as I was doing the design and making that decision to do this very specific thing that we're posting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, I think between the both of you guys being gone, it was the biggest thing I pulled from it was just being more conscious of our overall brand voice and keeping everything kind of true to what our core brand is. What's so funny?
I don't know. But I think that you're trying to say it in a way that makes it sound like, we're just, getting back to it, but it makes it sound like Steve and I have just been fucking up or so. You're like fixing it.
No, that's not it. That's not it at all. I realized it started to kind of sound like that, but that's not what I mean. I just mean that sometimes like my perspective is not, I don't know what I'm trying to say with it. I just think,
all right, you're a huge jerk. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's just end it right there. It made me appreciate you guys so much for everything that you guys do. And I don't know, maybe it just felt like it was like it was more impactful because I was like, oh, I thought of that. So like, man, this is really good stuff. That sound effect I put in there, that's genius.
Revolutionary.
That was a genius sound effect that I just popped in there, which it was. Every sound effect that I put into every video was perfectly placed and just great comedic timing. All right, so I do think at the end of all of this, wrapping up, that it's important to just like, look at things from other people's perspective and What I'm really trying to get at is that I need to communicate better.
Fire
and
all your employees and just do everything
I
yourself.
just need to do everything myself. Just absolutely everything.
Figure out a way to do it all yourself.
That's not what I'm trying to say here at all. You guys do an amazing job. I cannot do any of this without you guys. You guys keep me on track, but sometimes sometimes you guys, like, Steve will come up to me and be like, all right, what do we got going? What are you going to be working on for the rest of the day? And like, instead of, if it's me that needs to make a clip, I'm like, okay, I need to think of something to do. But I'm just like elsewhere in my head, just thinking about other stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know. Just make something, and I don't do a good job of helping him out and giving him the things that he needs to make the clip. I feel like I make it harder on people sometimes by not communicating in a great way. You guys are amazing. You guys are like the best. You guys are way better than me at everything, obviously, but that's it. Was that sufficient? Do you feel less attacked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great
All
job.
right, good.
All right, let's move on.
Appreciate it. All right, let's move on from that.
All right, what do you got next for us?
The next thing that we were going to get into was trailing off on that, all the things that I'm so great at. I can just do everything myself.
Oh, right.
Big mistakes. So yesterday we poured another concrete top. We did a concrete cap for our fire pit on this current project, and it turned out awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Confidence high cool.
After that. Yep.
Confidence so high. even saw some things that we could maybe improve upon. It was such a good success. It was like, we can make this even better, believe it or not. Because we poured it, we grinded it down, and then we polished it, and it looks awesome. It looks so cool.
Look good.
So after riding that high, it's like, well, we got to do a top on this like banquette area that we're building on the deck. Hey, we're pretty much pros with this concrete stuff. Let's do concrete over there. It'll be super easy, and I'm gonna add some additives to the mix that I read about. That's
definitely make it better.
Definitely gonna make it better. So we pour that yesterday. Really looks great. We edge it out and everything. It really looked awesome. This morning, looked great. Really looked nice. And then around like lunchtime, I was like, all right, it's been like 24 hours. It was kind of all built on this piece of plywood, and we formed it on that. And then I was like, let's pick it up, put it on sawhorses, and then we'll start deforming it so we can kind of check it all out and take the first piece of the first side of the form off. And I'm like, oh, the sides look great. Looks awesome. Cool. Start taking off the second one, and I got to kind of wiggle it a little bit. Gigantic chunk just falls right off. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And at that point, I'm like, for a second, I was like, hey, maybe we can fix this. And then I start like kind of messing around with it, and the entire thing like did not cure at all. It was basically just like a pile of sand.
It was not only did it not cure at all, it was like it was very strange. Like, it was like an M&M and had like a very thin little shell on top of it. And then as soon as you cracked that shell, it was just sand. It was just like loose sand inside. It
was really bizarre, and I don't totally know what happened, but I went into that with such sky high confidence, and it really like, I just had to start laughing, like, oh my God, like what the hell? How did this happen again? And somebody even messaged on Instagram like this morning, because I showed that we poured the top or whatever, and they were like, wouldn't it be like not much more expensive to get a remnant granite top installed, and you wouldn't have to mess with this? And because it's like pretty small, it was like 20 inches by like 6 feet, so it was very small. Like, you could definitely find a cutoff piece at a granite place that they could fabricate out of leftovers. And the answer is no. It wouldn't be a little bit more expensive. It'll be a lot cheaper probably, because now we're building it again. But I we
You
had to
want to
try.
get good at it.
I want to get it figured out because I just feel like there's so much potential there. It's so cool. Like
Yeah. The other one looks amazing. It
the
looks
other one
great.
looks incredible, and like as soon as we did that, not only did I think, okay, we can do it on this little banquette, I got all these ideas of like, we could do so much with this. Like concrete's awesome because you can just like pour it, and then it's just like there. And you can make it any shape. You can like do whatever. So I really want to get it figured out. So that's where I'm operating from. It's not like, hey, we just need to get a top on this. It's like, no, this is part of something
This
that
is our
I need
future.
to get figured out.
Yeah.
I need to get it figured out. So I'm not going to let a little setback or a little crumbly, concrete block get me down.
Yeah.
We're just got to get back on the horse and pour it again. That's all there is. I don't know what else to say, but it just highlights the importance of just knowing that you could possibly mess it up, even if you're going into it with sky high confidence. And know that's just the price of education. It's the price of education, and we're going to learn from it, and we're going to get this figured out. And
I want to say we're going to learn from it, but I just don't know what went wrong. Like,
well, that's part of the education process. Yeah, we don't.
We gotta know what went wrong to figure it out. But
I'm getting so much advice pouring in on Instagram, just from everybody. All different kinds of just. Everybody's got an idea on this. I think I'm going to consult some people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to figure this out. I tried adding an additive, a water reducer to this second one because I'm like, okay, I think that's going to help, make it a stronger mix so we don't have to add as much water, and it's got nowhere to like drain because we're building it on top of a piece of plywood as the bottom of the form. It's not like a slab that, the water can kind of go into the ground. Like the ground's not going to pull any moisture from it. So, the water can only come up through the top. So that was kind of where I was going with it. And I think that was the downfall of it. Cause when we're finishing it yesterday, I'm like, this top layer, usually like there's like that, you just get the cream on top. And this, like, it was very gritty. It was almost like sand. And I'm like,
yeah,
it seems a little off, but I'm still feeling confident. So,
and actually, now that you're saying that, it was like a lot of like the cream. It was a lot of it. So I wonder if it just kind of like floated all of the binding agents to the top, and then it was like, get out of here.
I don't know, but I think it just highlights the importance for me of being willing to make mistakes in order to learn. Like, you're not going to be able to figure out how to do concrete countertops and custom concrete shaped things without messing up a whole bunch. So it's like, okay, I could either do this on the job and do it as part of a project, or I could just like set up at my house and make a bunch of forms and mess up a whole bunch of times. But like, it's still the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, I still need to go through all this trial and error to figure out what's going to work and to just understand it better myself, so I can like know what the limits of it are. So after doing just the cap to the fire pit, before we had done the now messed up banquette top, I already designed a double-sided concrete top waterfall bar. Sent it to a client already. So
yeah,
it's already out there. Like, so we got, if we sell that job, time's ticking until we need to be really good at it. So this is a small enough one where it was only 4 bags of concrete. Boom. And it crumbled up super easy. So I cleaned out the form, and we're ready to pour it again tomorrow, and we'll get it figured out. And, we're not going to remember this little mess up. We're going to remember all the cool stuff that we build out of concrete.
True.
And polish it and all that stuff.
You know what cool thing we built out of concrete?
The other cool thing? Your water feature.
The water feature. No hiccups there. That came out perfect. Other than it was incredibly heavy and we had to move really far. But other than that thing was beautiful.
You know what the only difference was?
You weren't involved in that one.
Exactly. Way to toot your own horn there. You know what concrete project turned out perfectly? The one that I did by myself with no involvement from you. That
How do you
same
put that
project though,
together?
we did also do the poured concrete fire pit. We ended
Yeah, but
up
that wasn't like we did, but that wasn't like finished concrete because we put something on top of it, so it didn't really matter how it
well, we were
looked.
done. It was concrete. We were finished. So yeah, I'm a concrete finisher. That's concrete, and I'm finished. See ya. But like even something like that, like if we poured a poured concrete fire pit, built that same form that we did, that circular shape, and then we grinded it down and polished it like we did on this top. Imagine how freaking cool that would be.
Very true.
Possibilities are endless. You just got to get over the beginning little hurdles of messing it all up and looking like an idiot. But hey, that's not anything new for me. I'm here. We just talked last week about how much of an idiot I am. It's well documented. I got nothing to prove. So that's just something to think about there. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. And, if you go into it with like an excitement, it doesn't feel so much like a setback. You know what I mean? If you're excited about the possibility of what this could be once you get it figured out, then it's just like, it's not like, oh, I should have just got granite. This would have been done. Well, it wouldn't get me closer to these cool ideas I got floating around in my head. So
Yeah.
that's don't be afraid of your mistakes.
Learn from them.
Grow from them.
What did you say? It's the cost of the lesson or whatever? I like
cost
that.
of education.
Cost of education. I like that.
Yeah. It's the cost of education. It's how we learn these days. So, all right. That's kind of it on mistakes. And I'm starting to draw a lot of corollaries here. It all goes together, one thing into another. It all starts to make sense because the thing that I wanted to talk about, just the little something to think about segment here is I've been having little bits of imposter syndrome lately. Just feeling like, how am I in charge here? How am I supposed to be the one with the answers? I don't know what I'm doing. And, I think
what made you feel like this?
Just, it pops up every once in a while. You just sit back and you're like, how am I in charge of all this? How am I in charge of, how am I ultimately in charge of everyone that works here? Like this, I'm not qualified to do that. I don't have the skills or the knowledge or the charisma. I don't have that. How did I get in this position? And I think that always pops up from time to time. You just are like, I don't have the skill set for this. I shouldn't be the boss. This is all going to crumble. I don't have the skill set. Don't have the wherewithal. I know deep down that I do, so it's always short lived. But I just feel that way sometimes. Like, how did I get to this position where I'm in charge of only 5 other people, but it's probably 5 too many. 6 too many. I shouldn't even be in charge of myself. So sometimes you can think like that, and I think that's normal for anybody when you're just in, especially as a business owner, or just like when you feel like you're really pushing yourself beyond what you're really comfortable with. I think it's normal to feel like, why am I out here trying to do this thing? Like, who do I think I am to that I'm capable of doing this? I'm not capable. I'm an idiot. And just had little spurts of that recently, and I think it's important to like just confront it and like just know that that's kind of normal, and you kind of get through it, and that nobody out there like really knows what they're doing. Everybody's just like kind of figuring it out, and you can't get down on yourself for that. You just have to know, like, you're giving it your all, and you are capable of doing it. You got it this far. It's not crumbling down around you. Sometimes it's just the concrete countertops crumbling around you. Not the business or your life or anything, So I had just had a moment or two of that in the past like week or so. Snapped out of it pretty quick, but it just, I was able to be aware of it and like kind of catch it and like reflect on it while it was happening. And I think the dangerous part is when you don't really like acknowledge it and you don't identify it and reflect on it, and you just kind of like let it fester without you knowing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it becomes a bigger problem. But when you just like identify it, like, oh, I'm getting that like imposter syndrome feeling again. I had this before, like, okay, this is normal. Why am I feeling like this? There's no logical reason for me to feel like this right now. Everything's going great.
Yeah.
Besides the, many mistakes I just talked about, but besides those minor things, everything's going well, and I got nothing to worry about. So I just kind of wanted to touch on that, just a something to think about, kind of mental health note. Make sure you're being mindful of where your mind is. Acknowledge it, recognize it, reflect on it, and usually you'll just kind of bust right out of it, and it'll all be good. So that's it. Just wanted to touch on that.
Well, I'm glad you came out on the other side.
Yeah, thanks.
For now.
Appreciate it. For now. What's not coming out on the other side? Like, is that death? Like, what?
No, not death. Giving up or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Glad you're out on the other side now. We're cheering for you. Thanks so much. Appreciate that. But yeah. Hey, that's all I got. Something to think about. So, hey, if you're feeling that way, you're not alone. You're just with me. Good company. So.
All right, Sean. Sorry, I had to.
Enough of my weird rambling.
It got a little rambling at the end there.
My nasally rambling.
Yeah. So you're up. No, I'm up. Sorry. 5-4.
Okay.
Me.
All right. You. Okay.
Did I say that right this time? You're always yelling at me for saying it backwards or whatever.
Yeah, say the higher number first. So it's 5-4. You're beating me by 1, which
yes.
I'm okay with. I can deal with that.
Okay.
All right. So I'll go into it. I'll start asking you questions.
Okay. Hit them. Let's get them.
Okay. Take it easy. Really getting hyped up there, huh? All right. So when you do, and these are all kind of related to the episode in one way or another, or something that we did recently.
Okay.
So whenever you do a gas or a propane fire feature or any type of grill, accessory, something like that, you need to have ventilation.
Yes.
So depending on if it's propane, what?
Your sick voice just like that's I'm like, what?
Hey, can we cut for a second? Can we do that? Is that possible?
Just keep going. It's fine. Unless you're gonna like hock up a loogie or something.
I can't breathe. All right. I'm back.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Anytime you do a feature like that, using gas or propane, you need ventilation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you're doing propane or natural gas, the venting locations are going to be different because the weights of propane versus natural gas. So, and it depends on which is lighter or heavier than air.
Mm-hmm.
So, when doing propane accessories,
propane and propane accessories, yes.
Strickland propane, good King of the Hill reference. You want the vents to be up top because propane is lighter than air. True or false? Propane is lighter than air.
Than air. Propane is lighter than air. I'm going false.
False?
False. Because on grills, the vents are underneath, right?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm going false. I think it's false.
All right. You are right.
Yay!
Yes, propane is heavier than air. Natural gas is lighter than air. So if you have a natural gas, you want vents up higher. Propane, vents down lower.
Amazing.
All right,
Okay.
good job.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. This came up today. We were talking about Dante valves. The
Oh, okay.
name Dante valve is in
Dante's
reference
Inferno.
to Dante Alighieri's poem about the 9 circles of hell, Dante's Inferno. True or false?
I'm going to say false.
False is correct.
Okay.
It's just the last name of the guy who made this.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But it was funny. I typed this into Google Gemini where,
Yeah.
I'm not getting my stuff from them anymore because I don't trust them. But I said, like, why is a Dante's valve called a Dante's valve? And it was like, it gave me like this list of things that they're like, we don't know where it could be any of these things. Dante's Inferno, blah, blah. And it listed out all these things. And I was like, this seems like something that's knowable. Like, I should be able to just Google this. And I did.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's just Dante Valve is like the name of the company. And the guy's name is like Thomas Dante.
Nice. Yeah.
AI doesn't even know the answer to this, but Google did.
Yeah.
So
one thing that really made me weary on AI is were you in the van when I told Steve to ask Google
how many P's Apple has or whatever?
Yeah. Like it can't count how many, like if there's a double. I saw a video on it and I was like, let me test this. And it's like Apple has 1 P. And you're like, no, it doesn't. And then he was getting real sassy with it. Yeah, he was. I was like, don't do that. Stop.
Yeah, he was being mean to AI.
Watch out.
The
They're
robots
keeping a record of this.
Yeah, the robots.
When they get power, they're going to remember who was mean and who was nice. And I always say thank you and you're welcome and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. All right. Next question. Speaking of Home Depot.
The Depot.
Home Depot has how many stores worldwide?
Ooh.
Worldwide.
5,478.
2,335. 1,763. 7,892.
Worldwide. Huh. I'm going to go with the 5,000 one.
5,000. False.
Oh.
Wrong. It's 2,335.
Oh, okay. Now is Home Depot branded differently in different countries, or is it Home Depot across the world?
I'm pretty sure it's Home Depot across the world, but they're mostly in, obviously, United States, Canada, and Mexico, and then outside of North America, there's only like 15 locations. Okay. So I don't know if that's something they're trying to expand into, but that's what I thought the uncertainty was going to be.
Yeah.
How many are worldwide?
Yeah, that's what I didn't know, because when
North America.
In Italy we saw one that looked like it didn't say Home Depot. It said, I forget what it said, but it looked exactly like a Home Depot. Like, it was definitely a big box store. Everything was orange. It looked exactly like a Home Depot, but it was like a different name. So I was like, oh, I wonder if that is a Home Depot and they're just branded differently in different countries. But neither here nor there. Okay. China is number 1 on the concrete consumer list. They consume the most concrete. Number 2, the United States, coming in close to on the number 2. Number 3 is A, India, B, Brazil, C, Japan, or D, Russia. What do you got?
Ooh, man,
1 China, 2 United States, 3. Who you got? Who you picking?
That's a tough one. India, Brazil, Russia, or
Japan.
That's tough. I'm going to go Russia.
No, India.
That was going to be my next guess.
I thought that was interesting because I feel like at any of those I would have believed.
I think, you just like, my mentality was just like, when you think of like Soviet era architecture, it's just all like concrete.
That's kind of,
buildings.
That's what I kind of thought as well. But the numbers go in the order that I said them. 1 China, 2 United States, 3 India, 4 Brazil, 5 Japan, 6 Russia.
Oh, wow.
I was surprised Russia was down there. But okay. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. Last question for you. So wait, I'm 0 for 2?
No, you got the first one right.
Did I?
We both got the true and false right. and we both got the.
Oh, okay. All right, it's 1-1. All right. What is the chemical reaction called between cement and water? Has a specific name of that chemical reaction.
Reaction.
Yes, you have. You've heard of this. And maybe this is what didn't happen between our cement and water.
Compounding?
No. I'll give you one more guess.
The chemical reaction that happens between cement and water is... Yes. I don't know. Compounding. What is it?
You're going to double down on that. It's right this time. Yeah. Wow. Way to stick with it. Hydration.
What?
Hydration. That's what it's called.
Is this an
Heard of that word?
Did you get that from Good Gemini?
No, I got it from Google. Just regular Google, I think. So don't worry about it. All right, what do you got? This is my chance to win.
This is your chance to win it all.
We whisked off in victory. What do we got?
There are many different types of framing. What is balloon framing?
Balloon framing is when your studs go straight to the second floor. Like it's not like a wall, then a floor system, then another wall. It's just goes all the way up.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
It's not to the second floor, it's to the roof, but.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. On a 2-story house, yeah. All right. Victory feels good.
Congratulations.
Sounds like if anybody should have imposter syndrome, it's you, because I know twice as much as you. I got 2 right, you only got 1. Right. Great showing there. That's it for this week.
I feel like I'm putting in a protest on that concrete question. I feel like it's
Google it. Look it up. Call somebody. Phone a friend. I don't know. Write a letter to your senator. Whatever you want. However you want to protest it, it's fine. Like, I don't care. It's not going to change the outcome.
I don't care.
It's not. It's what it's called. And I knew it was called that. So I Googled to make sure that it was called that.
All right. I feel like okay.
All right. Well, that's it for this week. I am walking away with a victory. And now it's 5-5. I feel like, hey, we're doing pretty good. To keep this even like this. So that's it for this week. Hopefully by next week I get this nasal situation figured out.
That. It's horrible.
It's bad.
No, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad.
It's horrible. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
We hope you feel better.
Thank you so much. But that's it for this week. So until next time, this has been the Hardworking Happy Hour.
See you next week.